What's up, guys? Kamikaze Fox coming to you finally after a couple of week hiatus for round 6 of the SRL F1 2018 League. This is season 4, round 6 at Australia. Lots to talk about in the news for SRL. But first off, I want to give a big shout out to IRL and Sanjay Sourhog and Jared Fosbury for filling in for me while I was unable to attend the last couple races due to work, unfortunately. But round 4 back at Bahrain, another exciting race. Francis McGinn took his third pole of the year back at Bahrain in round 4. Lewis Marshall took his second win. Luke Smith finally decided to show up for the season and pick up his first podium finish of the year, while Francis McGinn finished in third. That was his second podium of the year. Meanwhile, we had a few DNFs. Ivan Brito from Daniel Jan Holm and Jorge Correa all had a DNF that race. And coincidentally, Jan Holm was taken out by Jorge Correa. He's got a qualifying ban because of that, a safe re-entry onto the track. He lost control of his car at Bahrain, was kind of coming back onto the track into the racing line, and got T-boned by Jan Holm. Correa wasn't in last round's race, so he'll be serving his qualifying ban today. And then in round 5 last week, which was full of controversy, but it was a very exciting race to watch. I wish I could have called it, but Francis McGinn once again picked up his 4th pole of the season. He did walk away with the win, his 2nd win of the season. Vasilios Belastiostis finished on the podium in 2nd. It was his first podium finish since his win back at round 1 in Hockenheim, and Lewis Marshall picked up his 4th podium of the year, put him in the championship points lead. Coincidentally, though, after the race, the stewards were investigating some on-track incidents between Sandro Dulius and Lewis Marshall. Dulius had blocked Marshall by accident on a qualifying lap, cost him possibly up to a half a second. Marshall was not happy about that, and during qualifying, cut the chicane in one area and came across the front end of Sandro Dulius. He didn't make contact with him. He says it was just to scare him. He wasn't trying to take him out. But from what I've experienced, there's kind of a zero tolerance policy in SRL when it comes to certain things like that. Subsequently, Lewis Marshall was given a race ban for this round, and Sandro Dulius was given a qualifying ban. However, Dulius appealed his penalty, and it was re-reviewed along with some incidences of similar fashion last year to blocking during qualifying. And he was handed a formal warning against his record for the season. He will be able to qualify today. That being said, Marshall, on the other hand, did not appeal his decision, and in fact, in a very uncharacteristic way, decided to attack SRL, the league owners, the stewards. A lot of back and forth chatter, personal insults against the league, the owners, and such. And unfortunately, Lewis Marshall, even though he was the championship points leader, he has been banned from SRL for the next 12 months. He will retain his points and his position in the championship points battle. However, he will not be continuing with SRL throughout the course of this season, which is too bad because Marshall is a very good driver. And again, it was very uncharacteristic of him. However, if you still want to watch Lewis Marshall race, you can check him out over at IRL, where he'll be racing tomorrow. So he's fighting for a championship in that as well. So we certainly wish Lewis Marshall the best of luck in IRL. Again, it was very uncharacteristic of him, and the decision could have been changed, but he never appealed it and decided to go about his business the way he did. So that's too bad for him. However, that being said, after last round at Abu Dhabi, round 5, Marshall did have 4 podiums in 5 rounds leading into today, but he's your championship points leader, but he won't be after today. Moving down the finishing order from Abu Dhabi, Remy Venderstapp had his best finish of the year last round, with a 4th place finish. Sam Brandt finally made his first points-paying race finish at Abu Dhabi with a 7th place finish. And Cameron Weston Edwards, who I do not believe is racing with us today, even though he did finish 10th at the last round, he did finish with a DNF. He crashed on the last lap. He was, everybody behind him was basically a lap down, so he got to retain 10th place, but that's his 3rd DNF of the year. Very out of character for Cameron Weston Edwards. Is really struggling this year in SRL. On the good news front, though, with Marshall being out, SRL has managed to get back last year's champion, Bart Capelda. And it's very fitting that Bart starts his Season 4 escapade here at Australia, where he had one of the most brilliant races last year. Last season, Bart Capelda had managed to win this race in a very exceptional fashion. He went up toe-to-toe with Francis McGinn, who Francis McGinn will, if everything goes as expected, will probably be the points leader at the end of this race. But that being said, Bart Capelda last year was running first. He was running away from everybody, and he lost an internet connection with his car while he was running first, and his car subsequently dropped down the running order as an AI ghost car. Now, Capelda was managed to get his internet connection back later in the race and fought his way all the way back to the front, managing to beat Francis McGinn by a nose the last corner, the last lap of the race. That was a very exceptional race to watch. So it's very fitting that Capelda is back here with SRL here in Australia. It'll be interesting to watch as we see all these guys are out on their flying laps, and this is, oh, Capelda in the Haas as he goes off. And we've already got, I believe that's Ivan Brito is done for the session. Not sure what happened to him. So we'll pick up, it looks like Jan Holm is the first one to set a lap at a 1:23.819. That's a little slow. Some guys were running in the 1:20s, and it looks like we've got a car off there. That might have been Brito's car. You see Foons Van Houten just sets a time with a 1:21.765. Colin Higgins, 1:22.698. Higgins made his SRL debut here last year, and that ended in spectacular fashion with him on his side after crashing with, I believe, Sam Brandt at the time. Lots of guys chiming in here on the live chat. Good to see Sandre Sauerhog and Bart Capelda chiming in. And we have been informed that the formation lap has been turned off by accident for this round. I hope the drivers are fully aware of that. And I've just been told by Sandra that Lewis Marshall has retired from IRL, so we will not be able to see Lewis Marshall in IRL tomorrow. So, unfortunate series of events for Lewis Marshall. You see Francis McGinn jumps to the top of the charts with a 1:20.178. That's 0.7 faster than Nick Van Gelder. So let's pick up some of the drivers that haven't set a time. Sam Brandt on his outlap. Dion Stahl is still in the pits. See one of the Ferraris there. That's going to be, that might be Dion Stahl leaving. Sandro Julius is fourth fastest. So Nick Van Gelder, Francis McGinn, you see Julius pulling over to the side. Looks like he's going to abort this lap and head cut the chicane. But Van Gelder and McGinn are the only two drivers to break that 121 barrier and crack into the 120s. Van Gelder, who had a great start to the season, had 3 podiums in a row, but the last couple of rounds, things have kind of fallen apart for him. Finished 5th back in round 4 in Bahrain. Last time out, he struggled badly with tire temperatures and tire selection. Ultimately ended up 14th with a DNF, which was too bad for him. Vasilius was back in form last round, coming in 2nd place. See him pull off to the side. A lot of guys heading back into the pits to make some adjustments, get a new set of tires. We're going to pick up Dion Stahl. He's on his out lap. Dion Stahl's had a great start to his season, but once again, he's started to trail off here a little bit. The past couple rounds, his first 3 rounds were great. Finished 4th round 3, but round 4 he was back down to 10th. Now he did finish 6th at round 5 at Abu Dhabi last week. He's 1 point behind his teammate Sandro Dulius. Watch Dion Stahl while I step away real quick. Excuse me. My apologies for having to step away. Got a sick son I'm trying to take care of while the wife is out with the daughter doing Girl Scouts. So, Dion Stahl didn't set a time. Coming across the line now. 1:21.618 puts him 5th quickest. So we got a lot of guys on some out laps. Bart Catalda has managed to work his way into the 2nd quickest. Looks like Francis McGinn improved upon his time. He was a 1:21.78. He's now 1:20.054. Catalda is a 1:21.61. Jorge Correa has left the qualifying session. He was on his he had a qualifying ban regardless. So the only drivers yet to set a time, Sam Brandt in the Haas. Looks like he's starting a hot lap now. Coincidentally, we do have Lewis Marshall in the live chat with us, so it's good to see that he's here, asking about Sandra's qualifying ban. Well, Lewis, you weren't here for the beginning part of the live stream, but after Sandro had appealed his decisions for stewards, they re-reviewed the incident and compared it to similar incidences of last season and decided that a formal warning against his record for the season was given as opposed to a qualifying ban. Unfortunately, Lewis, you did not appeal your decision, and things are the way they are, but we certainly wish Lewis the best of luck. Apparently he has retired from IRL for the season as well. We're sorry to hear that. Looks like Jure Marusic is done for the qualifying session, as he is 9th quickest. We continue to watch Sam Brandt. He comes across the 1:22.741. That's good enough for 11th quickest. And I believe this is similar times to what Sam was running in practice throughout the course of the week. And Jesper Lempinen just jumped to third quickest. Jesper had actually qualified in second position, I believe, last round. Had the lead there for a little while. But he ultimately ended up with a DNF and finishing 16th. And that was a close call there. It looks like he was trying to get out of the way of the passing car there. And that may have been Funes Van Houten on his flying lap. It's Andre Sauerhog in on the live chat as well. And a big shout out to him. A big thank you for filling in for me for the past couple of weeks. I know I said it earlier, but I definitely want to say it again while he can hear it. Filling in for me. Him and Jared Fosbury did a pretty good job last round. It was a very exciting race to watch. Continue to watch. Francis McGinn has retired from the session. 1:20.054. There's still 5 minutes left to play, and I'm wondering if he had crashed out. I seriously doubt he's going to think that's fast enough, because Cadelda is less than a tenth off of his time. And here comes Vasilios across the line. Going to caution in sector 3. Vasilios is going to start a hot lap now. We'll ride along with him. He's currently 6th quickest. So far, very smooth through the first sector. Vasilios had a very commanding win. A little bit of a controversial win at round 1 at Hockenheim in the wet, where he did happen to take out Cameron Weston Edwards in the racing incident after the race. Oh, he's lost the back end. Oh, no. Vasilios is done for the day. 1:21.494, 6th quickest, and that is going to be it for him. Possibly the same thing happened to Francis McGinn. So Bart Cadelda is currently on an out lap. We're going to watch him, see if he can improve upon his time and take a shot at pole. Cadelda is your Season 3 champion. Let's see what he can do. He had 7 wins last year and a couple of second places. He actually picked up 8 poles last year. And that was enough to beat out the very commanding Killian Brady in the McLaren. So 2:30 left to play in the session. We're going to take a look here, Bart Cadelda, and see what he can do. He's getting ready to come across the line to start a flying lap here. See if he can improve his time. And even though Francis McGinn has been retired from the session for a few minutes now, he still has the fastest time at a 1:20.054. Cadelda's a little over a tenth off of that time as he's going to try and see if he can improve upon it. 2 minutes left to play. We'll hop on board with Cadelda. caution in Sector 3 and Sector 1. Coming up to the section, this is where Basilios lost the back end of his car and ended up crashing. You see the cone's gone, and it looks like Cataldo knows that he cut that chicane maybe a little too tight, and that's going to cost him his time. And now we've got guys dropping out. We've got Sandro Julius has managed to work his way up to third, and it looks like Cataldo is going to call it a day. So we'll pick up Rennie Vanderstappen, who's 15th quickest so far. Looks like he's struggling a bit as he runs off and bashes the left side tires into the tire barrier. Rennie had his best finish of the year last time out at Abu Dhabi with a 4th place finish. And he has very much been on the side of Lewis Marshall in regards to everything that's happened since that round. He's been a little bit of an advocate for Lewis. You see he cut the chicane there. Looks like he's got himself back on track a little bit. 24 seconds left to play in the session. Can Vanderstappen get back to the line in time to at least give himself one more shot at improving his qualifying time? 1:27 is way off the pace, especially for Vanderstappen. He's proven to be a very fast driver in the past. Vanderstappen's going to start his final lap. Looks like guys are starting to just call it a day. We're going to pick up Van Gelder, see if he can improve his time. Jesper Lempinen has managed to work his way into third on his flying lap. That drops Sandro Julius to fourth. Van Gelder currently 5th quickest. And we're getting word from Francis McGinn that he crashed out because Colin Higgins has decided to park his car on the apex of a corner. I'm sure that will be reviewed after the round. Van Gelder comes across 1:24.48 to go third quickest. We'll pick up Sam Elvin. Banana Trolls currently 10th quickest. Been having a pretty quiet but pretty solid year so far. It looks like he may have given up on this lap as he is well into the 1:26 now. Renee Vanderstappen looks like he's called it a day. And Sam Van Elvin pulls into the pit. So good for Van Gelder. Last ditch effort pushes him up into the third spot. So Francis McGinn picking up his 5th pole of the year. And that is actually his 5th pole in a row for Francis McGinn. I had to double check the record. 5th straight pole for Francis McGinn. So here's your starting order. It's Francis McGinn, followed by Bart Cataldo, Nick Van Gelder, Jesper Lempinen, Sandro Julius, Soons Van Houten, Basilio Belistiostis, Dion Stahl, Colin Higgins, Sam Van Elven, Jo Marusic, Sam Brandt, Jan Holm, Ifrin Daniel, Rennie Vanderstappen, Jorge Correa, who had a qualifying ban, is 16th, and Ifrin Daniel, no, that's Ivan Brito, is 17th. He was the first one to crash out. Now, quick reminder, there's no formation lap, so when the lights go green, we'll be running. 17 drivers today. Another good outing for SRL. All right, lights are up. Lights are out. Time to run what you brung. Oh, and a lot of shuffling already going on there in the back. Bart Catalda goes immediately to the front of the pack. Lempinen up to second. McGinn drops to third. And we've got some stuff going on in the back. Oh, no, it looks like there's been a big, massive crash. We just lost 4 cars. Fons van Houten, Rennie van der Stap, Irfan Daniel, Dion Stahl. Going to be driving through. Look at the melee and all the cars. Oh, my goodness. So we lost 3 cars, not 4. And there's damage to the front wing of Dion Stahl. Jorge Correa was involved. He's got no front wing. Jan Holm is in 12th. Meanwhile, there's a battle at the front. It looks like McGinn has had an issue. Looks like he got pushed off track. He's now dropped down to 6th behind his teammate Vasilios. Meanwhile, Bart Catalda has pulled out to a massive 1.2 second lead already. And we're not even done the first lap. So drama has unfolded here on the first lap for sure. Jan Holm is now moving his way past Ivan Brito. I get him and Daniel confused a lot. That works him into the 11th spot. So, what an unfortunate series of events. 3 drivers taken out in the first sector, 2 of them very quick. Fons van Houten and Rennie van der Stap. We're going to pick up Francis McGinn now. Dropped all the way from pole position to 6th on the opening lap. And we're about to have a 3-way car battle for the 4th position. You see Sandro Julius followed by the 2 Force Indias or Racing Point cars, whatever you want to call them these days. My daughter likes to call them pinkies because they're pink. But Vasilios and Francis McGinn are starting to close the gap in down to Sandro Julius for 4th. Looks like Vasilios dropped the left side tires off from the grass just a little bit there coming out of that corner. I believe that's the turn 12 complex. Oh, what is that? Again, a little bit of a glitch there. Thought he was going off. DRS has now been enabled for lap 3 of this 29-lap event. And things are a little bit spread out now. Bart Catalda's got a 2-second lead over Jesper Lempinen. Lempinen's got a 1.2-second lead over Nick Van Gelder. Van Gelder's got 1.7. This is your closest battle here. Van Gelder's got 1.7 over Sandro Julius, who was followed by Francis McGinn, Vasilios. Sam Brandt has quietly worked his way into the 7th position. And Jan Holm is now moved up into 9th, so good for him. Colin Higgins in the pits. Ooh, and a big old wiggle from Francis McGinn. I'm sorry, that was Vasilios. No, it was McGinn. I'm getting the pinkies confused. So big move by McGinn trying to get around Julius. Has a little bit of a tank slapper. Heads into the wall. Breaks his front wing. That puts Vasilios into 5th. And here comes Sam Brandt. He's going to try to work his way around the wounded car of McGinn. Picks up the 6th spot. So McGinn will have to change his strategy as he heads into the pits for a new front wing. we're going to stick with that for just a second because this is going to drop him back into the order. Jovarusic goes by. Jan Holm will be the next one to come through. There goes Holm. And it looks like McGinn's going to come out in the 9th spot. Sam Van Alven, who I believe was caught up in that first lap melee, won't be close enough to gain any ground. So Francis McGinn all the way back to 9th. And his race is unfolding for him just in the first opening laps of this race. So he is on softs, and he will probably try to run them all the way to the end of the race. He will pick up his teammate, though, Vasilios, who is again closing the gap down to Sandro Dulius. And now Vasilios is going to be in DRS range as they head down the front stretch. He thought about making a move, but he dived back in line. Going to make a move here down into turn 3 where the sports center is. Julius hangs tough on the outside. It gives him the more preferred line on the next corner. Both back ends of both cars slide out. And Dion Stahl has retired from the session. He was running 12th. It looks like his car is parked outside of that front stretch. We started with 17 cars. We've got 13 remaining. 3 of them we lost on the opening lap as we continue to watch this battle unfold. Julius has actually won this race the first 2 seasons in SRL before Bart Catalda won in season 3. Meanwhile, Catalda is out to a 2.5 second lead over Jesper Lempinen. Boons Van Houten wants to know if you can give an interview on what happened. Absolutely. Funds joined the party. We'll do a quick interview with the opening lap melee, find out what exactly happened between Boons Van Houten, Efren Daniel, and Rennie van der Staap. And here we go. Vasilius is going to make the move. Oh, and Dulius goes side by side. They bang wheels a little bit. Looks like he can cede to the position. Vasilios has now moved into the 4th spot. So his next target will be Nick Van Gelder. Meanwhile, we've got a battle starting to unfold in the last points play between Sam Van Alven and Ivan Rigo. And he makes the move to get by him for the 10th spot. Trying to get Boons Van Houten in here. Well, it doesn't look like we'll be able to get him in here right now. We'll try and catch up with him after the race. Francis McGinn now working his way around Jan Holm to pick up the 8th spot. Oh no! Massive crash! Francis McGinn, Jan Holm going side by side, and McGinn ends up in the wall. Wow, big wreck for him. Unexpected. And here comes Sam Van Elven around the crashed car. And now Jorge Correa will be picking up the 10th spot here in a second. Unbelievable turn of events for what should have been the championship points leader. So coincidentally, at the end of this race, even though Lewis Marshall technically has a league ban right now, he'll still be the points leader at the end of this race. Oh, and Jorge Correa's going to go around, and he makes contact with the tire barrier. Look at all the debris. And here comes Colin Higgins. Oh, my goodness. And Higgins runs off. So Higgins picks up 10th spot. Meanwhile, Jesper Lempinen has cut the lead to Bart Gadelda by about half a second. It was 2.7 at its max. It's now down to 2.0. And Lempinen is going to jump into the pits. Gadelda is going to stay out. Nick Van Gelder's going to pick up the 2nd spot. So quite a race we've had so far. So we started with 17. We're now left with 11 cars. And it is only lap 9. Usually don't expect this type of attrition in a dry race, but Australian has proven to be a very difficult track today. And I'm sure there will be lots of discussions after the race between some of these drivers. And it looks like Vasilios has now closed the gap massively to the backside of Nick Van Gelder's Red Bull. And Bart Gadelda has picked up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, multiple warnings. Look at all the debris shred throughout the track there. You see Vasilios is now going to try and make a move. He's on the inside. He's going to be on the inside of the next corner as well. A couple of right-handers. And Gelder looking to try and make a move. A little bit of a lock up there on the left front. Ooh, almost gives him the chrome horn. And Gelder's going to dive into the pits. Vasilios picks up the 2nd spot. Gadelda, meanwhile, is headed into the pits as well, so that is going to hand the lead now over to Vasilios, whose race strategy is going to be vastly different. He started on the softs, so he'll be able to run them a little longer than some of these other guys. And Sam Brandt moves into 2nd position. He's running the red super softs. Meanwhile, Jesper Lempinen is right behind Bart Gadelda, and this could essentially be a battle for the lead here. Gadelda is currently running 3rd, but Sam Brandt and Vasilios Belasioutis is running 2nd and 1st. Neither one of them have pitted yet. So when they pit, that'll ultimately hand the lead back over to Gadelda, but Jesper Lempinen trying to put the pressure on him. Less than half a second separates these two. You see Nick Van Gelder there in the background. Oh, and Jorge Correa has retired from the session. virtual safety car. So whatever happened to Korea has brought out the virtual safety car. So we've lost yet another driver. It's turning out to be just a race of attrition at this point. The track is beating the drivers more than the drivers are beating themselves. So virtual safety car, Vasilios is going to continue to be your leader, and this will give him a chance for his tires to cool down. So he might be able to extend his tire life a little bit under the safety car, virtual safety car I should say. And it looks like the virtual safety car is over and we are back to racing, and this is your gap between third and fourth. This is Jesper Lempinen trying to get to the back end of Barcadelda to make a move. A little bit of puff of smoke out of the front end of the Cadelda's car, a little bit of a lockup heading into that corner. And these two guys are catching up to Sam Brandt. Now Sam will probably give way to this battle. Sam knows he's on a different strategy. He knows he's on worn tires. He knows he's not as fast as these two guys. Let's see if Sam heads into the pits in this lap. He does not. I'm sure he will give way to his teammates. A little bit of a move there. I don't know if he was trying to get out of the way, didn't know Cadelda was going on the inside or not. But now here's an interesting strategy call. Sam Brandt has the ability now to slow down Jesper Lempinen. Oh, and Brandt goes off, and he's into the wall. Sam Brandt goes around. And here comes Nick Van Gelder through the wreckage. Brandt has lost his front wing. That was almost catastrophic for Jesper Lempinen. Meanwhile, Vasilios has managed to pull out to a 15-second lead over all of this happening behind him. However, that is not going to be good enough to keep him in the lead on the pit stop delta. I believe pit stop delta here is about 22 seconds. But Barcadelda will effectively be the leader when Vasilios does decide to pit. So Vasilios, Jan Holm, and Sam Brandt are the only three drivers yet to make a stop that are still running. Brandt will have to pit this lap because of the wreck that he just had. The fastest lap has gone to Barcadelda with a 1:24.151. And now Cadelda is now managed to pull out 1.5 seconds over Jesper Lempinen. See, Jan Holm is heading into the pits. Sam Brandt is just now leaving. New wing, new tires. From the softs to the end, I'm sure. And Colin Higgins quietly running in 10th. Higgins getting a little bit of a tank slapper coming out of the last corner. And it looks like Vasilios is finally going to pit. Quick, easy stop puts on the super softs, and he's back out. Where is Cadelda? Cadelda is going to go by along with Lempinen. So Vasilios will come out in third or fourth. Here comes Van Gelder to take the third spot. Oh, and he gets by Vasilios, so Vasilios loses 3 positions as Van Gelder moves back into the third spot. The closest battle on track right now, you've got Jesper Lempinen chasing Bart Gedelda, but Gedelda's 2 seconds clear of him. Vasilios is now trying to get back to third position. If I had to take a guess, I'd say his strategy was to try and come out third from the pits. I guess he didn't have enough time built up over Van Gelder. Now Van Gelder's on softs, it looks like, while Vasilios is on the super softs. And in fact, Vasilios is the only driver running currently on super soft tires. So it'll be interesting to see if that strategy pays out for him. He'll be quicker than some of these other guys. He'll definitely be quicker than Van Gelder. So interesting strategy by Vasilios. And really neat to see how that plays out if it pays off at the end. We've got the DRS advantage coming down the front stretch. Not going to be close enough to make a move. But he might be close enough to make a move if he plays his cards right to head down into turn 3 here at the Sports Center. A little bit of a lock up there by Van Gelder. How long can... Oh, and his back end kicks out just a little bit. Van Gelder's had a really strong season up until the last couple of rounds. We talked about it earlier. He finished 5th round 4. He crashed out last round, round 5 at Abu Dhabi, but he started off the season with 3 straight pole positions. I'm sorry, 3 straight podium finishes. And Gedelda picks up another 3-second time penalty. That's 2 3-second time penalties that I know of for Bart Gedelda. So, if Jesper Lempenen's been running a clean race, Lempinen would essentially be the winner. Oh, and a little bit of a touch there, it looked like. You see, Vasilios did get around Van Gelder. I don't think Van Gelder's going to have anything for him. Oh, Vasilios runs very wide, almost clipped that wall coming out of that last corner onto the front stretch. Now, Bart Gedelda is cleared 3 seconds on Jesper Lempinen, so that's enough to clear one of his 3-second time penalties. But we don't know if Jesper has any penalties or not. We've seen time penalties play a factor a couple of times this year. Between the SRL and the IRL, the 2 leagues that I commentate for, time penalties have been a factor in a handful of races, so it'll be interesting to see if they're a factor again. And it looks like Vasilios is now pulled out. He's 8/10 clear of Nick Van Gelder. So cars are going to get a little bit spread out now. And it looks like Colin Higgins is done for the day. I thought I just saw a flash of his car, and I look now, 10th spot DNF Higgins. So we started with 17, we're down to 9. But Bart Gedelda is your leader, making his SRL debut for the season, making his season 4 debut. He's your last season's champion. Jesper Lempinen in the Williams trying to make up the last race where he had his first DNF of the year at Abu Dhabi and finished 16th. Vasilios running 3rd, just set the fastest lap at a 1:23.583, so he's on a tear right now. He is slightly closing the gap down to Jesper Lempinen. Nick Van Gelder running 4th. Sandro Dulius has been quiet all day, running a solid 5th position. Your Season 1 and Season 2 winner, qualified 6th, maybe 4th. He's only lost a position. Yo Marusic is in the other Red Bull. He's very quietly worked his way into 6th. Sam Brandt running 7th. Sam Elvin running 8th. And Jan Holm looking to put some points on the board. He's running 9th after he was involved in a little bit of an altercation possibly with Francis McGinn early in the race. They were racing side by side. We didn't have a good angle to see if there was any contact made. Big lock up there as he heads into that corner. Meanwhile, 10th through 17th is Colin Higgins, Jorge Correa, Francis McGinn, Ivan Rico, Dion Stahl, Zach Nugent, Freddie Vanderstappen, and Daniel. And as far as Daniel is concerned, that is his 4th DNF. 6 rounds so far this year. And we're going to pick up Basilios because he is closing the gap to Jesper Lebanon for the 2nd position. So it looks like his strategy so far is paying off. Will the tires last to the end, and how much grip will they give up if he's going to be able to make a run at Bart Nadelda? He does have the fastest lap so far of the race at a 1:23.5, about a half second quicker than the next fastest lap. So he started off strong this year, we know that. He had a pole, he picked up the first pole position of the year back in Hockenheim. That was in the dry, then he ended up winning the wet race. But then after that he kind of fell off a little bit. He had a DNF in round 3. That was actually his 2nd DNF. He had DNFs in Austria and Sochi. Managed to finished 2nd his last time out, round 5. Higgins is telling us in the live chat that he had lost the rear end of the car to turn 12 complex, which has called out a couple of drivers today. The gap now is 1.3. Now the gap to Jesper Lebanon has maintained around 5 seconds. It's been as high as 5.1 to as low as it is right now to 4.9. So Jesper and Basilios aren't really gaining a whole lot of time on Bart Nadelda. Basilios, his strategy may work, but he's running out of laps to put forth a good run here to try and make a lunge for the front. He's now within DRS range of Jesper Lebanon. Almost down to half a second now as they go through this complex here. Very fast left, right. You can see it's called out a lot of drivers. Debris thrown throughout the whole stretch there. It looks like that is going to be the lap car beyond home. Now this may be... I thought maybe Lebanon might be close enough to home to pick up the DRS off of him. See home pull over to the side, let those two go by, continue to fight. Good run out of that corner by Basilios. It was that area there that Francis McGinn had gone off. And Jesper Lempinen is hanging tough. He pulled a few car lengths over Vasilius that time by. Vasilius might be getting a little bit of aero wash through this section of the track. If they could keep the gap to him, he'll be in DRS range heading back out onto the front stretch here in the next few corners. And Vasilius is going to be in striking distance as they come down to turn 1. DRS slot open. Big run down to the inside. Lempinen's going to give way. Oh no, and look at this, Vasilius cuts the chicane. Went in way too hot and too deep. Into the gravel. And he's now 2 seconds back of Jesper Lempinen. Meanwhile, while these two were going at it side by side, Mark Cadello's moved out to a 6-second lead over second spot. So we're going to continue to watch Vasilius here, see if he can get that gap back to Jesper. Make another run at second spot. I don't think he's going to have enough laps or enough grip in the tires to make a run at Cataldo at the end of this race. Three-second penalty for Jesper Lempinen. So that's the first one I've seen him pick up. If Cataldo only had 2 3-second time penalties, he would definitely hang on to the win for now. Looking at 23 of 29. And Jan Holm has left the session. He was running 9th, and he'll pick up a DNF. Not sure where he went off. He was ultimately a lap car. Aaron Collingwood is asking for the tire detail. The only thing you need to know is Vasilius is the only driver out on super softs while everybody else is on softs. He's also got the least amount of laps on his tires, but might be burning them off. He tried making a run at second place, Jesper Lempinen, a couple laps ago, but went in too hot. You see the back end kick out there. Went in too hot down into turn 1, blew the corner, went off into the gravel. So Vasilius' strategy could have worked if he had made that pass stick, but going into the gravel, it dropped him 2 seconds back of Jesper Lempinen, and he's not been able to close that gap at all. So that's too bad for Jan Holm. He was having a pretty solid run. I mean, he'll retain the 9th place finish, but it would have been nice to see him come across the board. We started with 17 cars. We're now down to 8. Alan Higgins will hit 10th. He was called out at turn 12. Andre Sauerhogen actually asked at the beginning of the race if turn 12 was going to be a problem for the drivers today, and the answer is absolutely yes. It's been Calamity Corner. Well, when you see Vasilius is now starting to struggle with the rear grip on the car as he went through that corner there. So for all intents and purposes, this essentially looks like if things stay this way, this will be the finishing order for everybody. Barkatelda, 6 seconds clear of Jesper Leppinen. Leppinen is now 3 seconds clear of Vasilios Velociotis. Nick Van Gelder has quietly been running in fourth. He'll be looking to just get some points back on the board after his last outing. Sandro Julius with a solid 5th place finish. Johan Marusic quietly running in 6th. This will be one of his best finishes of his SRL career. That being said, though, Sam Brandt is starting to close the gap into him, so we might have a little bit of a battle here for the 6th spot. Sam Brandt's best finish, and actually his only finish, was 7th place of last round in Abu Dhabi. I shouldn't say that's his only finish. That's his only points-paid finish so far this year. He did get a point earlier in the season having the fastest lap at one of the other rounds. I forget what track it was. But last race at Abu Dhabi was his only finishing points-paying finish. And you see Johan Marusic get a little squirrely coming out of turn 2. So maybe Marusic is starting to feel the pressure from Sam Brandt 1.5 seconds back. So we do have a little bit of a battle unfolding here in these closing laps. And Vasilios picks up a 3-second time penalty. And there you see Sam Brandt coming into the background. And Brandt now, he is going to be within DRS range. And it looks like Marusic is starting to feel the pressure. A couple of mistakes in that last sector. Brandt is there. Brandt cuts to the inside, going to easily take that spot. Lap 26, Sam Brandt is able to make the move into 6th spot. That'll put him in the best finishing position so far this year for him. A lot of DNFs today. So Barkatelda working lap 27 of 29. We talked about him earlier, making his season 4 debut here in Australia. Very fitting, since he picked up his first win of the year last year here in Australia, and went on to be the season 3 champion. We talked about it earlier in the race, and it's definitely, you can check it out on the SRL YouTube channel. It was a very interesting race to watch last year. Came all the way down to the wire, last quarter, last ditch effort, and beat Francis McGinn by a nose. And that was his first win, and that would be one of 7 that he would pick up throughout the course of the season last year. So Barkatelda had 7 wins, 2 second place finishes, 8 poles last year, and he didn't have any DNFs, so consistency was key. Killian Brady from McLaren set the league on fire last year. He had 6 wins, 5 poles, 2 second place finishes in a 3rd spot, but Killian Brady decided towards the second half of the year that he was going to try and focus his effort on esports and decided to call it quits with SRL. Barkatelda was able to make up the points throughout the course of the season and lock up that championship. So, again, congratulations to him for his season 3 Championship, and it's good to see him back here at Season 4 in Australia, where it looks like he's on his way to pick up his first win, and less time penalties are a factor. As for Lebanon, solid run today, running in second. He had a second spot. He had a third place finish back in round 2 in Austria and in round 3 in Sochi. So this would be his third podium of the year. Then there's Vasilios. He picked up the first win of the year at Hockenheim. Had a second place his last time out. He was looking to make a move here late in the going. Ran wide going into turn 1, trying to put the move on Jesper Leppinen, and it looks like his tires have given up since then. And Jure Marusic. Looks like he's gone. I'm going to pick up Sam Van Elven to see if we can find Marusic's car somewhere. And on the last lap, Jure Marusic is going to crash. So another DNF. And I'm wondering if Marusic lost the car at turn 12 like some of the others have today. Sam Van Elven just went by wherever Marusic was. You saw Sam Brandt move to the side for his teammate. And here comes Bart Cataldo to pick up his first win of the 2018 campaign, Season 4. Sam Brandt gets 6th. Jesper Leppinen is going to come across in second spot. He'll pick up Vasilios Belisiotis, Nick Van Gelder. And Sandro Julius will quietly come across the line in 5th. Sam Brandt 6th, and then Sam Van Elven comes across for 7th place. That's his best finish of the year. And what an unbelievable race of attrition this has turned out to be. That might be frowned upon by the stewards. We'll have to get confirmation on that. But yes, Sam Van Elven's best finish of the year is 7th. So what a race of attrition that has turned out to be. Bart Cataldo, welcome back to SRL. And while there are many SRL leagues, there's only one Sandro Racing League, and that is what you have been watching today. So Haas, with the combination of Lewis Marshall and now Bart Cataldo and Sam Brandt, they are leading the team championship. So there's your finishing order. Cataldo, Jesper Leppinen, Vasilios Belisiotis, Nick Van Gelder, Sandro Julius, Sam Brandt, Sam Van Elven, Jure Marusic, Jan Holm, Colin Higgins, Jorge Correa, Francis McGinn, unfortunately picking up his first DNF of the year, Ivan Brito, Dion Stahl, Foons Van Houten, Rennie van der Stapp, and Irfan Daniel. What a race today. I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion going on after the race, especially about the opening lap incident. Looks like there was a qualifying incident involving Francis McGinn and Colin Higgins as well. So there'll definitely be some things to review after the race. But an unbelievable race today. And yeah. What more can you say after a race like that? You start with 17 cars, and basically you lose 10 of them throughout the course of the race. So SRL is going to be moving on from Australia. The next round is going to be, I believe, next week at Singapore. That'll definitely be interesting to watch. Singapore was full of controversy last season with Yannick Verpetten taking his first win of the year. Turns out Yannick wasn't driving, it seemed so. Be interesting to see, but definitely catch up on everything SRL on the YouTube site. Like, subscribe, and comment. Definitely check out the website. The link is in the description below, and check out their website for news and updates. And you can definitely check out IRL, the other league that I commentate for. IRL will be racing tomorrow. They're actually going to have an F2 race today. You can also catch that on their YouTube channel. You can also check them out online at IRL, at International League Racing-IRL.com. And there's also an IRL GT3 race at Bathurst today in the afternoon. Alsace was a disaster for anybody who was interested in that. But definitely check that out as well. I'm Kamikaze Fox. This has been round 6 of SRL. Another amazing race. We'll see you at the next one.